Hey everybody, Nam here again, back to do my weekly NFL predictions. This time doing the Week 5 segment for the 2022/23 season. Just recap real quick. I went 9-7 to improve on mark on the year of being 32, 31, and 1. Going into Thursday night's game, I'm not really sure what to think of Indianapolis after their perfect game against the Chiefs. They've just kind of been stonewalled, and they're going in the mile high. It'll be interesting to see a situation with Russell Wilson. He's banged up, and then they also lost Javante Williams for the year to a torn ACL. Um, so that will be remain to be seen. Melvin Gordon, I think, will be getting the touches now. We're gonna go. We'll go with the Broncos here, but it's going to be. I think it will be a close one between the two teams. You don't know what the trajectory now is for the Broncos and the Indianapolis. You just don't know who you're going to get from week to week. New York Giants versus Green Bay. Green Bay had their hands full with New England. They put up a fight against Green Bay, but Green Bay was able to get a little bit of everyone involved through the passing and through some trick run plays. Um, the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley is back. That's going to be something that the Packers defense is going to need to address. I think I got to give Green Bay just the nod here, just because uh, the it doesn't seem Daniel Jones has really settled in as a quarterback. So I don't know what that will lead from here on out if he can actually improve, and if not, where would the Giants go from here? Detroit versus New England. As I said, New England hung tough with the Packers, but their I believe their backup got hurt, so then the other guy came and I can't remember his name, and he did a pretty good job. Detroit, I might have to give them the nod here. We'll go with them. Um, it's not a comfortable pick that I'll admit to. So we'll see what happens there. The Chargers and the Browns. Interested in seeing if the Chargers can finally get Keenan Allen back. The Browns still have Chubb as their running back, and Amari Cooper didn't do too much last week, but uh, Cleveland uh, was ended up losing that game to the Falcons. But I'm gonna take the Browns in this one. I'm gonna say there's gonna be a lot of Nick Chubb, and Austin Eckler had a pretty good game for the Chargers next week, so he should be a factor in their offense. But we're going with the Browns. Houston versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville's now 2-2. I'm just gonna give them the nod here, just because of Trevor Lawrence. It's probably early, even though it's early season, it's a big game for them. Big games for a lot of teams in the AFC South. Atlanta versus Tampa Bay. We'll take Tampa Bay. We'll say they're able to slow down the defense of the Falcons as compared to the potent offense of the Chiefs. Pittsburgh versus Buffalo. I gotta go with Buffalo in this one. Pittsburgh, they brought in Kenny Pickett. He threw three interceptions, two of which were not his fault, though. One was a tipping drill type situation. The receiver had in his hands, and then uh, it was a dead ducks essentially, and then one was just a prayer that he shot in the end zone. So that's kind of a wash. It did look like he underthrew Deontay. I believe it was no Claypool a little bit on his first pass. Um, but he did score two rushing touchdowns, so that's a positive for him maybe to grow on. Uh, to get this team going, maybe and get an offense going. Najee Harris also needs to step it up too. Miami versus New York Jets. I'm going to take the Jets with I guess a shocker here. These teams. When I was a kid, I always remember these teams when they would play each other. They'd always play tough. I mean, obviously they're division rivals, but it just seems sometimes the Jets could be a pain in the butt, even no matter where they were as a team that season, whether they were on a high or a low. Um, Chicago versus Minnesota. I want to take Minnesota. Uh, Chicago's situation is unique. They don't really have much of a passing game. Khalil Herbert, though, came in the prior week and just tore it up on the ground. We'll have to see how David Montgomery is coming off. He got a little bit of an injury, but I got to say Minnesota has the edge here. I mean, Kirk Cousins. has good receivers in Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in the league. Uh, and then you got Dalvin Cook. So that's a potent offense, and they're going up against Chicago. Chicago's going to have to lean on their defense probably in this one. Tennessee versus Washington. I usually take Washington, or I like to take Washington a lot when they're home, but I'm going with Tennessee here. They're riding some momentum after starting 0-2. Heartbreaker of a loss in week one, and then kind of a just been blown out week two against the Bills. But you know what? They've overcome some adversity. They're 2-2. They're right in the thick of things in their division. So you know what? We'll go with the Titans. Seattle versus New Orleans. I'll take Seattle. I'm surprised by them with Geno Smith and performing as well as he has. DK Metcalf. I didn't think he'd be much of a factor or get a chance to be anyway for not really having quote unquote a number one type quarterback. But like I said, Geno Smith has surprised me. San Francisco versus Carolina. I want to take San Francisco. Well, I will, but I'm really worried though for their sake in terms of like their offensive line. Now, what that means now, George Kittle is going to be used probably for blocking a lot more, so he might not be a factor in the as a receiving option. So this might be a lot more reliant on the players such as Devo Samuel, Jeff Wilson, and other parts of the offense. But I think they should be able to take care of business with Carolina. Philadelphia versus Arizona. I'm gonna take Philadelphia this week. We'll see if they can go 5-0. They look like the real deal. They got a lot of weapons: Miles Sanders, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts at quarterback. I mean, it's fallen into place. I'm really happy for them because long story short, my great grandmother, big time Eagles fan. I was so happy when they won the Super Bowl the few years back. And I'm happy to see them doing well again. So I'll probably be pulling from in this one, and hopefully, my pick is right here. Dallas versus the LA Rams. I'm just picking Dallas simply because of their defense. They were able to stop the Bengals, and they had Joe Burrows, had weapons in T. Higgins, Boyd, and Jamar Chase. I think they're going to be able to maintain Cooper Cup, and then outside of that, it's going to be Matthew Stafford's going to have to really have like Higby, Akers, and others step in. But Dallas as was able to contain a lot of the passing uh, offenses that they have faced this year, and they're doing well themselves. So I'm taking the Cowboys here. Cincinnati versus Baltimore. I'm going to take Baltimore, but this I think could potentially turn into a shootout between Jackson and Joe Burrow. Um, you know, as a pure quarterback, I like Burrow, but as someone who I'd want the ball in the hands all the time, you would like to have Jackson have that weapon because he can do it with his arm and his legs. So Jackson's no dime a dozen quarterback. That's a in today's NFL, it's a rare thing I think to have one your receiver. Being able to move out of the pocket and make them a little bit more vulnerable. But Jackson's, I think, smart enough, and he's been proven that he's capable of still getting it done. So we're going with the Ravens there. And then the Monday night game between the Raiders and the Chiefs, we'll take the Chiefs. This might be closer than some think. Usually these two always had a good rivalry between them, but I'm going to take the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes should get the job done. So that's my picks for Week 5. Feel free to let me know whether you agree or disagree. And with that said, as always, I'm Nam, and always use your noodle.